All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for checking out this video. This is a follow-up to the When Self-Importance is King video. The previous video has both of these have to do with the portions of the Toltec teachings that are the initial teachings and what is done to prepare an individual to get to the point of an apprenticeship, and that is to deal with the loss of energy as it relates to self-importance and self-pity. This generated by the self-image, and it's like a leveraged pressure force, and through the indulgence in these, whether it's self-pity of I deserve better or I am better, pompous, the arrogance, real self-importance, and that kind of indulgence, or self-pity, which all of it is self-pity ultimately. So the previous video went over that, and I was talking about with the teachings of the Toltecs, and I want to clear one thing up straight out of the gate. I should have done this in the first video. I didn't even mention Don Juan Carlos Castaneda, but it should be mentioned, because there were things that I wasn't aware of. There were things that didn't make sense when I was in my 20s, and I was reading these, and I was just ruminating and trying to basically construct, a series of practices with teachers that teach the Toltec tradition and stuff. They already have tasks, challenges, routines, rituals, break habits, build habits, break routines, doing, there's just there's already structures of things that the student, like, go out and do this. You got to do this 10 times today. It's going to be very uncomfortable. You're gonna go, make other people uncomfortable. Not get in trouble, with the law or something. They may have a person go out and do the exact opposite of what their nature, because they're, even though they read books and even been around people, that know a lot of things, it takes the practical effort and unrelenting to actually accomplish anything. The thing with the Toltec system, it really is a complete and total system, and it's not one of complexity. This is not an intellectual masturbation. This is not just endless, nuances of inventories and just, it has names for things, so you can, they could understand the knowledge, the silent knowledge that they were gaining, and they could just explain it and describe it to themselves, and they could do it and spread it and tell it to others. It's a simple, structured system. It's a simple system, but it is absolutely difficult. Oh, it's so difficult to implement and utilize. It's simple, but shoveling rocks with a pretty good sized shovel, it's not complicated. You shovel the rocks. Well, do that for 3 hours. Do it for 8. And it's like, well, that's pretty easy work, wasn't it? Easy. Well, it's simple. And they're over there laid up, muscle spasms, down on their back, legs hurting, so sore they can barely show up the next day. So, well, it's simple work. You're just shoveling rocks. It's brutal. Shovel rocks 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day. Well, it's kind of like the Toltec teachings. Simplicity, but the other part gets you. The I wrote the piece on the area of this week, about 4 or 5 days, 6 days, on the getting rid of self-importance, dealing with self-importance, being alert and vigilant, and when it rears its head, when it appears, and you know, it's such a diabolical force. The more obvious situations that you might get in where self-importance might start to play, and the leverage and the force be exerted, and and a person what normally would indulge and feel inadequate, awkward, embarrassed, humiliated, put down, no compassion, uncared for. So the victim, the self-pity kicks in. And a person with more obvious situations, you know, it clicks. It's like, these are those situations I am not supposed to. No energy, no energy. And inner silence, alert, being aware of everything around you. And so people can be pointing at you. Look at you. And you notice them, but you notice the wind. You notice the birds. Your attention is not on the indulgence of your awkward humiliation. If your attention was there, it would be feeding energy over to your self-image across the mirror of self-reflection. And you would be losing what you're supposed to be holding on to. But maintain that inner silence. You maintain that vigilant alertness, that very active alertness on everything. And draw from the inner silence. Inner silence is it's described much like the accumulation of energy in your being from curtailing the indulgence of self-importance, self-pity. It builds up and builds up and builds up. And then at a certain point, the seesaw tips. And so the it's a self-image that has been crafted and made since you were old enough to know your name, because that's when it begins forming, when you can repeat your name. I'm Johnny. I'm Thwee. There you go. Self-image. Crude. Not too much pressure. Can't get that little Johnny to be too embarrassed. Like, Johnny, where'd your pants go? I don't know. But then now Johnny gets older. The identity solidifies. The reason, awareness solidifies on the reason. And you become so invested in the self-image that there's not even an afterthought, because people will block out those humiliating or those when they it's such an awful situation. I had to walk out of that room with in a towel, all those people there. Oh my God! And I knew some of them from school. It was so horrible. Of course, this is why they teach in the teachings of the Toltecs, to always have death as an advisor. Because death will tell you, death, should I be humiliated? These people are going to see me in a towel. Death will say, fuck those people. I'll tap their ass too. All you's done. Every one of you. You going to give your energy over? Dumbass. And you make a good point, Death. Yeah, I'm coming for you, friend. And he was like, that really just brings me back to this centered place. I don't, then you're not indulging at all. It's just, you just don't care. You could do without the towel at that point. But see, people they don't arrange and are not taught. And they have so many reservations or whatever. And but you have these things. Death is an advisor. The inner silence that is cultivated. So just as the energy that is kept and not through the attention transferred over to the self-image, and it's accumulated till it tips a tipping point. And then the force of self-pity and self-importance that generated by the self-image is just it's just inadequate. It's inadequate now. At one point, it had you over a barrel. Now you have it over a barrel. At that point, it cannot even sustain the mirror of self-reflection. And that's what they call the shattering of the mirror of self-reflection. Because once you have it over a barrel, the mirror is not going to be put back together. Even if a person just practices some basic sorcery for the rest of their days until the body fails, that's fine. It's a pity. So similar to that, accumulation of energy that is not spent, relinquished to the self-image by indulging in, grandiosity and I need special consideration because I'm a victim and pity me because I need to, I want to go to Bermuda now. Where's my jet plane now? Victim. Yeah, I want to go now. I'm rich. Or somebody says, "Oh, look at you. You're poor. You ain't got a house. You ain't got a car. Loser." That can affect people that when that leverage of their self-image, it's a pressure exerted upon you, and they indulge it. They might internalize it. But listen to these people in the street, psychologists, doctors, all these kind of people. All emotions are good. Sadness, even embarrassment. These are healthy emotions. You just don't want them to interfere with being a productive member of the slave society. I mean, a productive member of society. No. It's garbage. So the inner silence, in a way, is like one of those, like the abstract force or leverage or pressure that the self-image will exert upon you to get the energy from your awareness. Draws it right through the attention. And so that's why when you rely on inner silence to I'm not going to go as far as to say center or stabilize. I'm not, if there's specific language used by the Toltecs to describe the I'm sure that between the people that I know outside of the Don Juan Carlos, what would you call that, milieu? There's a fairly straightforward, of course. It's a straightforward connection between the benefit of cultivating inner silence in you, just as you're protecting, conserving, keeping your gains, and not relinquishing any of the energy that you normally have been every day of your life over to self-importance. And the challenge is self-importance is such a diabolical system of function. It really gets people on small things. There's an old superstition. Don't go, if you go outside and your shirt's inside out and someone sees you, you got to wear it all day. That's the superstition. If you change it, somebody sees you, shirt inside out, and you change it back before you get home. Bad luck. Well, this is where this comes from. This is a residue that's come to the surface of actual knowledge. But nobody knows how to place it, or what it's for, where it comes from, why it's there. Because if you go out the door and your shirt's inside out, and somebody sees you, and they're like, "Hey, your shirt's inside out." Yeah. Whatever. Now they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna go, "Hee hee hee, that's funny. You're coy. You're just a hoot." Hatred. They like average people. They like a proper response from you. They don't want none of this. This guy just does shit for the hell of it. Oh my God, this guy. They don't know this consciously. You have to be careful. If you were to put in the arduous, daily, hourly diligence over and over a day and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and really put everything into your existence, using death as an advisor, cultivating inner silence, putting yourself up against every now and then tests, or having your teachers arrange like challenges or something to really test you. You know, situations that nobody really wants to be in, and you make them through. You make it through. You make them right. No indulgence. Death as an advisor. Inner silence. And the energy builds up. The scale tips, seesaw tips, and now you have self-importance, self-pity over the barrel. And you never let up. You have no pity for yourself. You have no pity for yourself. You have no self-importance. It doesn't exist for yourself. Ruthless. Ruthless with death as an advisor. And a resonant frequency of consciousness that's just going up and up and up. A healthy renovation of energies in your being. So if a person goes out the door, shirt's inside out, and somebody sees them. They're like, "You're not supposed to turn that back. You're not supposed to fix that. I seen you. You know it's bad luck." Yeah, I know. And it doesn't let up. It gets worse. You've got to fix the shirt. Got to fix the shirt. That is self-pity, self-importance. Who cares about your shirt? Everybody's going to die. Death is just, but that's not even a consideration. It's like, oh yeah, I'm busy. I'm wearing this shirt. I just don't know if I can handle this. This is intense. What if somebody that I didn't know walked by me? Oh, I don't know if I can handle it. Oh boy, yeah. Don't even think about putting them on the road to an apprenticeship. There's no telling what would happen. It wouldn't be good. I mean, you do have to be kind of to really, really be willing. It's not even so much willing. There's higher powers at work, influencing. Let's say influencing. Old souls, old soul energy. There's a lot of things going on that would compel individuals not just to try apprenticeship, and you could benefit a lot just from being around a Toltec teacher, learning about inner silence and raising your frequency, and healthy living, and curtailing self-importance, self-pity. I mean, it benefits a lot. Even people do not become full apprentice and go on, which is much more in depth, much more difficult to put it. The language that you have to use. You could, if you receive the wisdom, the energetic facts, the silent knowledge, and you can explain it to yourself, describe it to yourself, then you're able to converse with others about it. But still, it's the distortions of words. It's so difficult trying to arrange the abstract into even if the awareness is in a place of no pity or a place of silent knowledge. Well, then it's getting it. Then it doesn't have to decipher, and it doesn't need the distortion of all these words. Awareness is situated, and it's situated energetically closer to the silent knowledge than reason. So just as you can accumulate the energy to tip the scales to against self-importance and self-pity, you can cultivate the inner silence, and they're probably directly related, because it probably is a very efficient energy saver device, and you can also use it to harbor your attention whenever certain situations arise where pressure from your self-image would try to exert upon you to get indulgence for your self-pity. And if you're harbored by the silent knowledge, the inner silence, if you're harbored there and you've been accumulating that like an energy, it's probably an efficiency. It probably has more as much to do with high quality energy as it does with the amount. Because you have low quality energy and high quality energy. You want to gather high quality energy. You want to save and accumulate high quality energy. Those ancient sorcerers really fucked up. They just they were just gathering energy from everything. Dumpsters, you know, whorehouses, you know, just like, rah, energy, rah, where's some energy? Oh, I thought there was some around back at the bus stop, rah. They go for it. It didn't work out because that low quality energy is bad juju. Bad juju. It disharmony, low frequency. So the superstition about the shirt inside out, that is exactly what it is, because it is an example of the most pathetic, low, tacky self pity. It's just, and there, I mean, there's people that just absolutely don't care, you know. And it's not that the superstition is real, you know, bad luck. Huh? Well, what it is if you're that indulgent that you can't defy the self-image that's been created since you were from the cradle, since you could say your name. I'm Johnny. I'm 3 years old. There's the start of the self-image. It just gets worse from there. If you can't retain the energy and keep it from being relinquished across the mirror of self-reflection for an inside-out shirt, then you have, it probably would be a forecast of bad luck, because that's what I would give that person. Your life's going to be shit. Oh yeah, it's totally because of the shirt you wore inside out and you got embarrassed about. Oh yeah, that was it. That was the final straw. He's like, look at this. God looked down on you and said, look at this embarrassed bitch. Fucking shirt. What did I make down there on that planet? I mean, at least these people over here are burning shit and fucking tearing buildings down. God damn, this dude he's feeling bad about an inside out shirt. Oh my God. My ex-coworker, Janice, might see me. Sally Sue. Billy Bob. Whoever. I mean, these thoughts go through their head. This is where their attention is. This is where their awareness is. On the self-image. Until death taps them on, oh, hey, you know, just death's right there. They're just not aware of it. They're just not aware of it. I think it has to be an irony of the cosmos. If people that, some of the most indulgent people, the greatest, largest, awful self-pity, awful self-importance, that they are indulging in a very proper way that they always have the moment death taps them on the shoulder. It's like, I know you're in the middle of your bullshit, but listen, fuck up, we gotta go. Come on, tap. Pew. That's funny. So you accumulate inner silence, and it helps. It has to do with high quality energy, because it would probably be the high quality energy that you have been able to accumulate that would be your harbor, or your um, an edifice to, at the point where you recognize the pressure is being exerted on you, but you're not going to indulge in this and give it over your energy. So it probably has to absolutely have to do with high quality energy. But I have to dig back and check on that part. I know I've been rambling for a long time, but everybody just speeds the videos up, watches them like 1.5 speed or whatever, and that's fine with me. I don't take offense at it. I'm not going to pity myself for it. Crank it up to 2. Fine with me. We're all going to die. Okay, so this is our very own enemy, self-importance. And of course, the greatest quote that ever came out of the Carlos Castaneda writings came from Don Juan. Power rests in the kind of knowledge one has. What is the sense of knowing things that are useless? They will not prepare us for our inevitable, unavoidable encounter with the unknowable. That first part, it's just beautiful. One of the finest there is. So I started it out with a little. Sometimes I have too much fun doing introductory. The paragraphs. Sometimes I just do it a little too. But I mean, it happens because just some sheer over and over and over again. You want to give yourself something, a variation on a theme. We are not concerned with a dubious definition of self-importance that average people keep in their dictionaries, as those belong to average men and women of their average world. For us, this is useless and will not suffice. The self-importance we're concerned with requires the devastation wrought by the acceptance and the cure of the ancient sorcerer's definition, because power rests in the kind of knowledge one has. The sorcerer's definition contains a transcendent knowledge possessing such quality it includes both explanation of and the prescription for dealing with the self-importance within one's own being, and only it will suffice. And we're going to go on to the ancient seers, through their manipulation of awareness, had arrived at energetic facts pertaining to self-importance. Understanding obtained via direct knowing. They would eventually be capable of explaining this to themselves, making the knowledge in a manner that they could pass down through their lineages. The first of their revealed knowledge asserts that self-importance must be understood to be a force generated by one's own self-image, and it is directly involved with every aspect of our temporary identity. So that's how that starts out, and it just goes on down through there like that. And the point of making this video has to do with the conversation I had after finishing the writing portion. I hadn't made the first video yet, and Avery Seldom Dreams, he was talking about Aleister Crowley. I've tried to tell this story. This is third time. Okay, so Aleister Crowley, wild man, he had like 3 different groups that he, whatever, of course he had different groups at different times of his life, but he wasn't just out there insulting politicians. He wasn't out there, doing petty crime. But he had written things, and he had said things, and he had not indulged in the pity of caring about how horribly he was portrayed in the media. I mean, he had a horrible reputation. Horrible. And the people at that time, I mean, at the time of Crowley, when he was, middle-aged and everything, I mean, people were squares. I mean, you talk about squares. They were squares. And they fervently did not appreciate people that had, got attention, who did whatever they want, did not behave the way they expected them to behave, like them. And this is almost like a mob frequency agreement. You can see, they talk about the mob mentality and how you can watch crowds of people just like shifts. It's like it's really like the energy just shifts. Oh, well, mob's crazy. It's like civilized. Oh, and it just sweeps across the thousands in the parking lot. It's like, wow, you can probably, in a way, you could probably catch it on video. It's just an invisible, ethereal shift. Okay. Well, if a person puts the diligence into dealing with their self-pity and their self-importance, and you tip the scales, and the self-image is not capable of generating a force and exert a leverage or pressure on you enough to force you to relinquish any of that energy in you, then eventually it really it can't sustain the what's called the mirror of self-reflection, which is just the ethereal mechanism that this energy is. This is how it shifts through your attention, it's drawn from your attention. This is the mirror of self-reflection from the other to the other. It can't be sustained. So even the mirror of self-reflection dilapidated. It just does not. So they call it shattering the mirror of self-reflection, but that's just flamboyant. And at this point, the form of man, which has all of the machine mind, the social complex, and the form it had the leverage of the self image. Well, this starts coming apart. It just starts unraveling, and that individual finds themselves more often than in a place of no pity, in between reason and silent knowledge, and they have no pity for themselves. It's gone, and it's gone. It's gone, and they have no self-importance. It's gone. It's and if they don't, you don't have it for yourself because you're done with it. It's gone. It's not an issue anymore. You don't have it for others either. And so, and these students would be, some of them would be very nice, raised very nice. And there is a YouTube channel. I want to do a shout out. I mean, seriously. This guy, he's got a couple of years on me, but we're not that. I don't know. He's probably got 10 years or so, 12 years, right? Let's see here. It's going to be the. He has a channel. He's had it up for 3 or 4 years. He does take students. He knows what he's talking about. I have benefited greatly and enjoyed listening to his videos and content. Really helps with the writing. I mean, really, and I'm 20 years on this Carlos Castaneda and any other related the knowledge that came down from the Toltecs and all that. It existed in its own manner. I mean, it's not that other lineages and entirely other civilization kingdoms were unaware. They're unaware about self-importance. They would just refer to it crudely, maybe, or as some other name. They call you the big man. You think you big man. You got to get rid of that. It's the same thing, but the Toltecs really, for the time, they really put a proper technical. So it's the Nagwal zone. Nagwal. It's the tonal Nagwal. So it's a Nagwal zone, and he's got some great content up there. He was talking about the human form, and when you dealt with self-importance and self-pity to the point where the mirror of self-reflection just no longer really is together and functional. You have to keep a close eye on your fellow people in the world, because some students, as he was talking about, they would curtail their indulgence in self-pity and self-importance, like if there was some kind of embarrassment or, there was none of that. They had defeated, they'd take care of this, if this arose, no, denied. But they were raised congenial, pleasant, and they felt that there's no need to be rude. What benefit is that? Even he said himself that, negative vibes, kind of like the idea about the negative positive energy. I don't want to kill the energy in the room, man. I don't want to bring everybody down. My negative vibes. Well, those nice students of the sorcerers, they had to learn the full scope of the diabolical pressure that even a wounded self-importance and self-pity could exert. So you might be able to deal with I'm not embarrassed. I have death as an advisor. I'm not going to indulge and give energy up over what people think of me. But when it comes to just being pleasant all the time, as society would expect, because there's some really, really pampered people out there that just, well, I never. The way he looked at me, it was the meanest glance I've ever gotten from anyone. I think I'm going to call my sister. You know, well, these people, when they're together, and you don't give a fuck, you have no pity for yourself, and you certainly don't have no pity for them. No less pity for them than yourself. It's the same. You've hit the neutral zone on all this self-pity and self-indulgence, self-important crap. Nobody can make you feel special. You have death as an advisor. Nobody can make you feel like a failure, loser, less than. But you're surrounded by people that are absolutely unaware, incapable of even, I mean, they wouldn't even, if a person has worked their way to that point of their apprenticeship, you gotta watch these people. Because the energy, like a mob mentality shifts, and you can almost see it on camera. They don't like it when you don't cooperate and indulge as everybody's expected to indulge. And you'll see it on their face. They're like, oh, it was so embarrassing, wasn't it? I mean, I knew it had to been pretty embarrassing. And I mean, they're excited. They're excited like a wolf is getting ready to drink blood. But then you're like, I have no self-pity. It is a diabolical part of the humanity that each one of us must root out and be done with if we're ever to have knowledge. And they'll sit there and go, that's fascinating. What kind of piece of shit? And then they go, uh-oh, there's 3 or 4 of them now. Oh, there's 2 more. They'll just start drawing in. These people, they're not even in the conversation. They're 25 feet away. They just start moving over like NPC. What is going on here? Well, the wind's getting ready to shift. You got a little storm blowing up in this little store because you, Billy freaking no pity ass, is getting ready to get the rage of the collective social self-importance of these not in control of their own freaking awareness kind of shit. I mean, it's like freaking Roomba, NPC, hive stupid. And it's almost like a mob mentality. See the energy shift. It's like, oh, better get out of here. It's like, why? It's like, people that really lock into that self-image and indulge every day of their life. Well, when they're in a group and then there's a reason for, say, me to do it, I don't because I just have no pity. They really, it's like, they zoom right in on it. And they're like, hey, well, aren't you special? You think you're special. And there it goes. Oh, there it is. I mean, they're not only going to enter into the feed their victim self-pity part, they're going to go into the preservation of the fucked up global situation. It's like, we must protect self-image. We will give our life. Kill the sorcerer. He cannot be free. Because freedom is scary. People, so you just gotta watch. You just gotta watch. And so, normally in a situation like that, it's a little bit over the top, a little hyperbolic. It's the smaller ones that are sort of relatable to that kind of crazy situation that would probably statistically most likely kind of come up. So even with like family or friends, because you'll have friends, your shirt's inside out, you don't give a shit, there ain't no pity, you don't care, but your friend that you've known for a long time, maybe, if you're not friends, I mean, I'm more along the lines, some people aren't so heavy into erasing personal history. I think that when the Toltec teachings are carried out to the letter and then some, you get the benefits that probably will end up maybe carrying you over the threshold. It's like, most people didn't get so hardcore on their erasing personal history, but I just went freaking crazy, full on Phillips screwdriver on that, and I went above and beyond, and I just made it in to the inn of the wise man, to the wise man's inn. Boy, it's that close. If I hadn't have done that extra on that one part. So I think if you can go that extra 2 or 3 measures, if you watch this whole video, I'm going to be making more of these. I might make them shorter, I might make them longer. I'm not trying to become, I am a PewDiePie sorcerer, I don't know, 100 million witches tuning in to do some witchcraft, Minecraft. No. I appreciate any like, any share. And I think it's covered it. So the Aleister Crowley was the point of the video, and he got himself into a situation. In a sense, it kind of fed itself out there, but that's kind of what happened. It was his place of no pity. He didn't give a fuck. And at that time, in that era, it just lit them up, because these people indulge around us. They indulge like it's a freaking sport, like an ancient Aztec sport where they execute you or something. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Namaste. And catch you in the next video.